this is the website where you can basically do the public search. It has three options: wordmark, Vienna code, and phonetic. So Vienna code is for the device mark specifically. Wordmark and phonetic is something which is important when you want to do the basic search or the wordmark search per se. Now, before we start this, they've already given you a list for the well-known marks. Now, well-known marks is important because if there is a mark, if there is a well-known mark, basically they get protection across all 45 classes. So you need to avoid filing a mark similar to a well-known mark in any class whatsoever. Then they've also given you an ability to search for the classes. Now, this here, we'll do a dummy searches. We'll do few searches, which I've already looked up for, and I'll show it to you. Now, in the word mark, there are three options: starts with, contains, and match with. Match with is basically for the identical check. Starts with is basically for the prefix check, and contains is more exhaustive because it will give you all the results which contains that same string that you're searching for. So for example, we'll search for crystal in class 36, which is for the real estate. Now, whenever you do the search, it will basically give you all the marks which contains crystal, and it will give you the status of the mark, the application, and the other basic details. In case you want to see other details, you can see it from here. Now, when you are looking at the application, when you're doing the public search, there are multiple things that you need to look at. The first is the status. If the status is registered, that means that mark is already registered. There are few statuses like exam report issued, objected, accepted, and advertised, which means that the application is not yet registered but is currently being pursued. And there are some registration, some statuses like withdrawn, abandoned, refused, which basically means that that application is no longer active and you can think of filing a similar new patent. Then when you're looking at other details, you also see if it is a registered mark, you get to see when it, like for what date it is valid up to. And here you can see that this mark is even though registered, but it was valid up to only till 2015. That means it is no longer valid. So you can even tell your client that, okay, this is something that you can look at or you can try it. Now here, you will see all marks which contains crystal in it. You can even select these marks and create a report in case you want. Now, once you're done with this search, now it is extremely important that you do not restrict yourself by just these results, because in terms of identifying whether there is a similar mark or not, even the phonetic resemblance is important, or any visual similarity is also important. So if I do, like you can also do a phonetic search here, crystal in the same class. So you will see mark like crystal, Christie's, Crystal City. You can go through these marks and analyze whether there is anything similar to crystal or not. Now, when you're going through these results, you should be thinking that what all variations people can think of when they are filing for a similar mark. So why not for crystal in terms of phonetically similarity? We have not seen any mark where crystals is starting with a K, which is a very commonly used variation. So you should also check what happens in crystal filed in class 36. So here you will see that, okay, again, there are few marks which are registered in class 36 containing crystal with a K. Now, similarly, you should also be thinking of other permutations like, can there be crystal with an I? And then again, search it in this class. So the better or the more variations you can think of, the better search you're going to do, because you will not be thrown any surprise when it when an examiner is basically examining your application. So it is extremely critical for you to basically check that how that is getting done. To give you another example, if we'll just do a contain search for say MikeLegal in class 45, it will give you a registered mark. Now, interesting thing here is that sometimes the client may tell you, or even when you're searching for it, the client might say that, I actually want to know how many marks are similar to mine, because legal is a generic word at the end of the day. So you need to do, you need to break the words and search in that particular class. So you will see that, okay, there are a lot of, marks containing Mike. Then again, you need to think that, okay, M-I-K-E, someone can even write M-I-K. So that is how exhaustive you need to be when you're basically doing a particular, doing a search. Then this is basically how you're checking the availability of a word mark. Now, if you remember, there was Vienna code classification slide. So here you will see Vienna code classification. So with respect to Vienna code classification, basically through through the Vienna code agreement, all the devices or everything has been classified under 28, 29 categories, and you can basically have a list here. These are the 1 to 29 categories, and there are subheadings to it. Like if your mark basically contains a particular 1 star, or it contains an apple, or it contains a human face. So you basically can go through those categories and search for that particular term, or search for that particular Vienna classification in that particular class. So if, for example, we will take this 112. So 112 there was basically for a single star. Now, when you're doing a Vienna code classification, it has to be a 6-digit code. So in case 112 is just 3, so you do 010102, and I'll search it in class. So when you're searching it, it will give you all the marks in class 9, which has which has 1 star. So let's see how results stand out. Now, let us see the results. So there is 1 star. There is 1 star here. This is also classified as a star, the famous band logo. So this is how you do an effective search for the images that the client gives. Now, in case it's very rare that when you're getting a particular mark, it just contains one element. So again, it becomes extremely important for you to check for each and every element and do the search again and again. So it's a very you have to be extremely exhaustive when you're doing the search. And that is where it takes a significant amount of time when you're doing the search using the IP India model. Because you have to think of the variations, you have to think everything on your own. And that is where you're able to provide a better legal opinion, or in terms of or you're able to recommend the client whether they should be going ahead with the mark or not.